Hello, dear listeners. I hope all is well with you. I just want to address today a question that was asked yesterday. And actually, this question comes up quite often, whether it's in dating process or it's in a family relationship between man and a woman. So I just want to, first of all, kind of reinstate the question that comes in. I often hear that a woman, I mostly deal with women, I deal with couples as well, but mostly the questions as such come from a woman, even in a relationship when they are both present, that there is like a subconscious fear that shows up in a relationship where a woman feels a guy could be like a pushover, could like take over her life, could take over her regular routine. And she feels, in this particular case, a woman feels that she likes the man and she wants to kind of give in, but that really scares her and she doesn't want to push away a possibility of a marriage, and she doesn't want to push away the possibility of continuing dating with this particular person. So that comes up very often when you do see a red flag that occurs to you. Maybe actually it's not an issue, but it shows up to you that is an issue. And because you feel like you need to be flexible, you need to be more submissive in a good way, you need to be more kind of like forgiving and kind and considerate, and plus you treasure a certain level of that relationship, you do not address it. And I think partially why people don't address, because they don't know how to address. There is kind of two modes usually exists in such setting. Either you completely deny it or neglect it or kind of push it away because you don't want to ruin the relationship that on some level you enjoy and like, or you get reactive and you start defending yourself, proving your point, push away the date if it's a date, or try to withdraw from like a marriage partner and kind of get resentful, etc., etc. So none of those two ways are actually healthy, and they are not necessarily a solution for this situation. And I would like to address both of them. So I said at first a woman is afraid to address it. Sometimes it could be a guy could see a red flag, could see, let's say, she is maybe constantly late, or she's maybe not neatly dressed, or maybe she has some issues with taking care of herself, or maybe she's not health focused or religiously focused, etc., etc. And he doesn't want to bring it up because he doesn't want to be rough or rude, etc. And he kind of pushes it away. And the same thing with a woman. She doesn't want to bring it up and she pushes it away. The reason why you don't want to bring it up because you are afraid to hurt a person, which is understandable. But in my opinion, it's important to bring it up in a more gentle and more self-respectful manner. So you kind of at the moment say to yourself that there is a red flag, but I need certain communication skill that would be able to settle and relax our relationship and actually will bring maybe our relationship into a higher level because we address it, because we're straightforward, because we are honest, and because we are capable of communicating kind of on topics that might be hurtful, might be painful, might be misunderstood, misinterpreted. So the way to do it is firstly understand why you were pushing it away, because you didn't know how to bring it up, and secondly, because you like upgrade and develop in them is healthy self-esteem. For instance, you could just program in your mind and just say inside yourself, I definitely need to bring up something, maybe not in a defensive way, maybe not in a push away way, maybe not in a confronting way, but I'm worth it, that whatever kind of rings the bell, or whatever sounds off to me, I'm worth it, that I need to address it. I'm good enough that I could address it. I should not live in uncertainty on that level without knowing how will the person handle my disagreement, disapproval, or discomfort. I deserve that I could settle this for myself. So you're actually doing yourself a kindness and a favor, and that is a self-love kind of decision when you decide to bring certain things up. Let's just bring an example. Let's say man during the dating says that I had this in the past. This woman is married many years already. So she says to me, I have 4 children. I believe she had 4 children, or maybe even 5. And this is her second marriage. And each time she was dating, the guy would ask, I need a proof that your ex-husband is covering the schools and the needs of your previous children. And I need that it's like legally all approved. I'm not planning to support the kids from the previous marriage. I'm not interested. And she found it very hurtful. Like that was one of the first things that a lot of people that she would date with would address and would bring up. So I remember speaking to her, and she said, like, how do I handle this? Is that a sign that the person is not for me? I need him first to connect with me, first to build certain relationship, not just discuss financial stability right away. So I said to her, it brings something up in you, that kind of turn off, that like very practical, very not feely touchy kind of side of you brings up, that you're not approving, you're not settle with that part of you, like very practical, grounded, earthy type of person that is trying to prognose and estimate and evaluate and decide, very kind of dry part of you. So first accept and love that personality inside of you. Just first say, I love and respect very practical, very grounded, very pragmatic part of me. I love and accept and give space for very earthy part of me, the one that doesn't care about feelings and falling in love and romantic relationship, the one that is very much what's for breakfast and who is paying the mortgage and is there gas in a car, like very practical. And she's like, yeah, I always did not want to associate that I'm like that. I always disassociated myself with that part of reality. I always identified myself more like a spiritual, more like a uplifted, more like encouraging person, more understanding and kind. So it's important, before you start reacting, important to clarify that everything outside is our reflection, especially the one that we push away, especially the one that we don't want to associate with, the one that we feel like that would never be me, that's for sure never will be me, to right away confront with someone who could be a potential romantic partner, who is feeding your children and who is going to take care of their school tuition, etc. So it was a work, and it's a therapeutic work. You can't just do it on your own. You have to have someone who could hold the space for you, because a lot of insecurity come up, a lot of instability come up. This side of us brings up a lot of traumas that we experienced when we didn't have or didn't have enough, or we were not settled with a certain level of material kind of comfort and security and stability, etc. That's why we don't want to look there. Because of the traumas that we had before, we kind of push it away. We don't want to identify with that side of human expression. We just don't want to be part of it because it hurts to look there. A lot of traumas over there do show up and they need to be healed. So there was a huge level of therapy done because of that. And you could see that it's not necessarily related to dating or to this particular person. Usually I have someone come in and ask me, is this right? Is it suitable guy or not? But you have to understand, it's not such a kind of black and white answer. There are layers, there are levels. Especially a potential partner could bring a lot of stuff up that needs to be cleaned, that needs to be uprooted, that needs to be addressed. And yes, you could go back to dating after. Nobody is putting it away, nobody closing our eyes on the red flags. But first they address your inner state, your reactivity, your kind of, what does it bring up? What do you truly feel when a guy next to you speaks like that or brings certain things up? That's number one. Number two, that's when we don't want to address it, right? But when we notice that we are automatically very reactive, we kind of like jump to conclusion, we push it away, we close the door on a person, we say, oh, he's not the right person for me, or she's not the right girl for me, I'll go look somewhere else, and we just say, that was awful, that was wrong, that was disgusting, that was not supposed to be addressed that way. That reactivity also kind of unpacks a certain level of you, because if we react or too quick to conclude, that means there's a certain, even on a physical level, there's certain emotions that were not lived through. There's certain emotions that were like repressed, were pushed away. And that's another thing that a person needs to check in. Why am I so reactive? Why couldn't, like, I'm not married to the person, or even if I'm married to a person, we could discuss and discuss not once. We could try to hear each other's sides. We could try to understand where we're all coming from, both coming from. Maybe there is misunderstanding. Maybe there is no misunderstanding. Maybe this is true how it is. And it's good that we saw the honest and in an open way everything that a person is about and wants for his marriage. And I'm so grateful that it came up so early, or it came up now, and we could like reassess this relationship and maybe decide for ourselves. But there is really no room for reactivity. There shouldn't be a room for reactivity. A person should not react right away. And people right away get defensive. I wasn't reacting, I was just expressing. There is a difference between expressing calmly and expressing in a subtle way, like for instance, oh, I would like to address something, can we not go to like a loud restaurant or a loud place next date? I just want to sit down quietly and bring something up. Would that be okay? And you kind of set the tone and you allow things to unfold, and you bring one point at a time, and you're very calm and very pleasant about it. And you know the right words, and at the same time you praise the person that you're speaking to, whether it's a woman or man. You say good sides of this dating process, of this potential marriage possibility. You acknowledge, you don't overdo it, but you just acknowledge as you unfold your discomfort. You kind of thank the person for what you truly feel comfortable with and you truly feel relaxed with, you know, and then you're able to share. It doesn't matter what the manners of the person or the look of the person or certain spiritual choices of the person. Doesn't matter what annoys you, or they're too kind of materialistic, and there's very little spirituality which you appreciate in the person. Whatever it is, you could address it in a more pleasant, subtle, kind, considerate way without withholding anything that triggers you. And in my opinion, the reason why people get reactive, again, because it brings a lot of stuff that hurt in the past, that you don't want to look into. You could say, oh, I had 15 years ago a relationship that I was long ago done with, and he reminds me of that person. And obviously, if he triggered and called out and you got reactive, that means you did not get over that person. In a way, if there is no forgiveness, if there is no understanding, if there is no settled feelings, especially if someone reminds you of that person, or someone looks like that person, that means you're still in a way energetically holding that person in your aura, in your presence, and it's like schlepping somebody's energy together with you for last 15-20 years, and you don't need that. And you could celebrate and say, thank goodness I got reactive, thank goodness it came up. That means it proves and shows to me that I'm not done with that relationship. I need to be finished. I need to kind of declutter from everything old that still sits in me. And you'll again look into it through therapy sessions, which I would encourage a lot. And you address it, and it's like, no, I don't want to be reactive. On a physical level, reactivity also connotes that there is some liver problems that a person might have, some digestion problems, some often what I notice when a person is reactive, they either have headaches, or they have like light addiction. They either smoke or drink, or they have addiction to maybe black tea, coffee, or anything else, chocolates, doesn't matter, bad salt. That also on a physical level shows, like usually when a person says, I'm constantly extremely reactive, extremely explosive, I just right away close the shop. Whenever something triggers me, I cannot carry a conversation, especially if it's a date, that I could quickly shut the door and open another door. And I get very kind of, I assume this is the right decision right away. So there is a lot of health issues that a person needs to look into. There's a level to address addiction, as I said. There's certain things that a person could do to clean or cleanse their liver with a lot of green smoothies, with a lot of good quality walks, preferably constantly, day in and day out. You take good, fast enough walks. That also stimulates the function of the liver. Liver holds all the emotions such as regrets, aggression, anger, irritation, judgment. All those feelings we kind of hold in our liver. And if we could, on a physical level, help the liver cleanse, then on emotional level it also cleanses. So usually if you start taking regular walks, or you go regularly to yoga, or you regularly drink a lot of green smoothies a day, every single day for let's say a month, a lot of those emotions will start showing up, and you're not going to be the most pleasant person. You'll start feeling those emotions show up again and again, and you're going to be very reactive. It's just kind of like cleaning the very dirty room, you know, a lot of dust starting coming out. When it's all settled and all repressed, it's as if you're a very kind person and you smile to everyone and you consider it and you're, so to speak, patient. But whenever you're triggered, and whenever things like cause you to be reactive and to be quick to react and to be quick to judge, or quick to kind of defend yourself or prove your point, another liver kind of alert, for dysfunction is when a person is trying to to always see the way they see it, they're right. This is the right way. How they see it is the right way. Or they're constantly doubting that they're right. Like there's imbalance. They're either never right, or they doubt their themselves being right, the way they see it, the way they view it, the way they approach certain things, or they're constantly in self-righteousness, convinced that this is absolute truth, and they don't need to consult or ask or check in with someone, you know, who is more mature, more experienced, more professionally equipped in certain ways. So with dating and marriage, it always brings very old junk in us, on emotional, on a mental, and on a physical level. Our body is the only part of us that never lies. Our mind could convince us, no, you're the most kind person, you never get angry and you never get irritating. It's just like once in a while it happens. Your mind could always convince you, could always prove you you're always right and you're very kind, and look there, you saved someone, and look there, you helped someone. You will never be not considerate and kind. But here, your mind will never tell you, but you're reactive here. You jump to the conclusions very fast. You're very kind of defensive. You kind of feel and do see those reactions in you. And on emotional level, a person could also get lost. A person feels one emotion, doesn't know if this is the emotion they feel. They don't know how to identify. A lot of us don't even know the difference between anger, irritation, resentment, and blah blah blah, just one blur. Like a lot of people get lost, and we're not educated on emotional level, emotional intelligence, right? We don't, most of us are not necessarily, we're afraid of some strong emotions. We kind of run away from it. We don't want to identify it. We don't want to validate it. We don't want to sit with it. We don't know how to sit with it. We're afraid we're going to fall into depression or sadness, etc. So mentally and emotionally, we could always escape, but body can never lie. So whenever we have certain, before even sicknesses, certain side effects like headaches, like indigestion, like back pain, shoulders pain, knee pain, sometimes we have maybe sinuses, or it doesn't matter what it is, or you know, it could be very light, but a person could see it, could feel it at this moment. Body will never lie. The only question is, how do you trace back to the original development that body right now expresses, where it starts in your mind, in your character, and in your emotions and in your feelings? How do you address the world? How do you address God? How do you address people? Do you feel the world is not a safe place? Do you usually feel you need to defend yourself, protect yourself, hide yourself from others? Do you feel like you can't really be too open? You should never be too open? Do you feel like you need a lot of people around you? Do you feel like you don't need too much people around you? All those things are really important to trace back from the body symptoms, from this illness, from the sickness, from discomfort that you're experiencing in the body. Trace back and really hit the root of the problem. And usually the root of the problem is a certain habit and a certain personality that brings to that. So in my philosophy, so to speak, in my therapy that when I teach people, I usually like to address everything, both body, mind, and soul or spirit. And it's not one is more important than another. It's all one unit to me. I look and I see how certain bodily dysfunctions are truly connected with certain personality traits and certain views and value system that a person need to maybe shift or change, etc. So going back to the dating and to marriage, maybe marriage problems or marriage solutions for many of us, it's I think the beautiful thing is when, even during dating, to see and to be open enough and to say, you know, I think I was overly reactive yesterday and I need to take care of myself. I need to eat less meat, more greens. I need to take walks. I need to maybe write a journal daily, weekly or something. I really need to address that issue in me. But I truly want to bring it up more in a calm fashion, more in a respectful fashion. That really bugs me. That really bothers me. And I think that's a first step to a happy marriage, when you are able to have back and forth, no matter how heavy you got hurt or offended, or you were pushed off, etc. Everything could be addressed with words. Everything could be settled with words. And if you're not for each other, you'll know that. And if you are for each other, you will only go deeper. In my opinion, when you reinstate your boundaries and your self kind of personal boundaries, and you address what's important for you, that, you know, quality of sleep is important for you and you cannot stay up until 2, let's say, or certain habits of eating is important for you and you love and respect him, but this is what you want to stick for yourself with, let's say certain health habits. If you bring it up without like giving in and being kind of not truly submissive, when you betray yourself, you cannot be submissive with other person. When you are bringing up what you would prefer and how you would like and how you would like it done towards you or for you, etc., that brings into relationship a lot of respect, a lot of self-respect. And when you're respecting yourself, you could be viewed as a person that knows how to respect others. If you kind of push yourself and you don't address your needs and you decide you need to be submissive and kind and give in and kind of forgive in some ways, yeah, people call it forgive, and you don't address it, you don't reinstate your needs, that is a lie. Energetically, it comes out as she or he is a liar. They don't know how to love, they don't know how to respect. It's very uncomfortable to be next to such person. Very kind of unsettling to be next to such person, because that what they repressed will for sure come up, but it will come up in yelling and screaming and calling names in an ugly way. It will for sure come up. So your job is to understand, whatever I repressed before, I could either let it come up in the green smoothie diet or healthy diet or less meat diet or good exercise, good quality yoga regularly, journaling, therapy, or I could wait till it pops out in an ugly divorce or an ugly disagreement or argument, etc. So in my opinion, dating is not necessarily only about dating. It's mostly shows to you who you are as a potential partner, how you could handle partnership. Are you ready for partnership, or you need to solve certain things inside you? And without that, we can't only address another person. Like, a lot of people come and they want me to just say, oh yeah, he's an idiot, or yeah, he's a great person. It's not always about the person you're dating. It's primarily and firstly about you. And then it's about potential setting in a relationship. I hope you like this video. We actually have a new channel. I'm going to share below this video. I'm going to share the link to YouTube channel. Please like and sign in and share with others. I'm going to post English videos and we're going to put it there as well. It's going to be here and it's going to be on my English channel on YouTube. Love you all and take care.